The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Oh, wrong. Good evening, degenerate fantasy football owners, and welcome to Week 9. It's moving week. We got a couple of 7-1s, 1 5-3, and everybody else struggling for 500 ball.
That's true. Got a couple interesting facts. Our YouTube videos have been a success thus far. That's why we're continuing the pattern. I actually tagged Jim Beam in our first broadcast, and they got a hold of that. Their social media director contacted me via email, sent me this nice T-shirt. So we have a real sponsor at this point. And two, did you notice that our videos? Correct me if I'm wrong. We have 12 people in our league.
We do.
Our videos have over 50 views a week. So one of two things is happening. It's going viral, or the commissioners are sending it to all their family and friends. I'm going to go with the latter.
Yeah, I think it's possible, and 50 views over the course of 3 weeks. I mean, that's like
per week. It's per week.
50 views per week. We're talking about one view for every work hour, minus lunch.
Okay, production's going down in the workforce these days.
Well, let's enough with the banter. Let's get right into the games. First game we've got this week: Mr. Strack versus Brandenburg. All business.
It's true. Strack versus Brandenburg. Strack, dead last in the power rankings. Your classic worst to first. He obviously had traded the right Manning, keeping around Peyton. He's done well for him. Brandenburg's still looking for his first win. We're over halfway through the season. My pick this week's going to be contingent upon one thing, and that's the Bears defense. I'm going to say if the Bears defense scores over 15 points, Brandenburg, here's your first win.
Wow. You're talking an 0-8 versus a 7-1. You like the upset.
I do. Bold, I know.
Well, I had the luxury of facing Brandenburg last week, and he gave me the jitters. ESPN had him for 129 points. Made me nervous. Ended up in a real barn burner with 69-66 victory to this guy. Couple of things really scare me. It's going to be whether or not Jamal Charles gets more than 4 touches in a game. Aaron Rodgers has got to be Aaron Rodgers. You can't have an off week. No defensive touchdowns. No cheap fullback up the middle. He's got to do what he does. Strack is going to continue to ride his four horsemen offense, where it's just basically 4 guys and a bunch of damn assholes.
That includes Piercy Harvin, right?
Piercy Harvin. He's been just ridiculous this year, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he returns kickoffs, he runs the ball occasionally, and for a horrible throwing game that the Minnesota Vikings has, he produces.
Well, as far as my pick, I'm going to have to second you. I'm going to take Brandenburg to get his first win and to put Strack to 7-2, reeling and on his way into the cellar and possibly out of the playoffs.
All right, well, let's go ahead straight to our next matchup with Kevin and Leck.
Kevin and Leck. It seems like I do Kevin's games every week, and there's one reason why. I love to talk about the Canadian superstar, his man crush, wonderful kisser, Cam Newton. It looks like he's dumped the Carson Palmer experiment. He's going back to his bread and butter, his main man, if you will. Also, Trent Richardson has been such a pleasant surprise this year. He's just been stellar. We were down on him early in the year, but he's just been pretty productive. Again last week, finding the end zone. Leck just a lot of people on bye this week, and Leck with his hands-off ownership approach. He's got one of the fewest transactions made in the league. My team's on the floor. 4 transactions. The combination of those two, I just like Crony, in a laugher at this point.
I got to agree with that. Kevin is going to get this victory. Lex, I think, projected for 61 points. But in the long run, is Kevin's team the A team or the team?
I like it. That's another quality joke.
That's what I'm here for.
On to the next game, we've got Mr. Mark Davey, 5-3, versus Todd Sauter with a brand new team name.
Well, it remains that Mark Davey is the hottest team in the league. He's got a little bye-week blues this week. He has decided that Phil Rivers is not the answer, and the Golden Domer, Andy Dalton, is. I'm just going to say Andy Dalton's not the answer. You're matched up with Todd, struggling with injuries. You got MJD out. DeMarco Murray is coming back from an injury, but who knows how many carries he'll really have this week. Stephen Ridley on bye, is really struggling at running back position. But, as I say, Sauter goes as RG3 goes. RG3 is throwing up over a third of his points this week. I like Sauter in the upset.
That's a very ballsy pick there. When I look at this game, I see Sauter with DeMarco Murray again starting at running back number 1 slot. Please, someone tell DeMarco Murray he's playing this week. The guy's had an O next to his name all year long. I'd like to see him come back and give him some kind of production. But with regards to Davey, dumping your main quarterback, it seems like he's had Rivers every year. I know that's not factual, but those two names are synonymous, Davey, Rivers. What I think is going to happen here is I think what we have is a slow motion trade. Basically, Davey dumps Rivers onto waivers. Robbie picks up Rivers, dumps Schaub. 2 days later, I see Davey picking up Schaub and running with him. It's kind of an interesting thing where really no one else wanted either of these guys. They could have just gotten on the phone, Robbie and Davey, and just said, "Hey, you want to trade quarterbacks? They both suck." They didn't. They went through the process. I applaud them for that. But back to the game, I got to stick with Davey. He's just so hot, and I just love his balls. I've been on him for so long.
Well, why pick up the phone and call each other and make it fast? Let's just slow play this thing and draw it out for a week. On to the next game. We got Robbie versus Brent.
Yeah, Robbie Brent. Wow. This is an interesting one. Robbie with another team name change. He went with Sugar Shane Hollinsworth. For those of you who don't know, that's one of Brent's old racing rivals. It hits home with him. Brent is just, the last couple weeks, his team has just been on fire. At one point, ESPN in the middle of the game on Sunday, they had him projected to score 164 points, and I just wanted to see that. It didn't happen, but he does have two extremely stellar quarterbacks. He just picked, which one he wants to start. He's going with Ryan this week. I don't see a whole lot of production out of Martin. I don't see the 35 points coming from him this week. I see a little bit more balance. Robbie needs the win. What are you, Robbie? 3-5.
3-5.
This is a big week for him, and Brent's at 4-4. He's not much more in a better shape than Brent or than Robbie is. However, at this point, I can't go against Brent. I just think he's got it. I'm going to say Brent by 15.
See, that's where I think you're wrong. I agree with you on the fact that I don't see the production out of Doug Martin this week. But this is another week where it's no bye weeks. I have my full running back core of Ray Rice and LaShawn McCoy, beasts in the backfield. To try out the new Phil Rivers experiment, I think he's going to have a big night tonight. I'm going to go ahead and say I get the win and progress to my playoff push.
Well, we talked about off camera that is going to be an interesting pick for me just because I always pick against you and I always pick against Brent. So I've got to take someone. I wish you luck in the game. I think it's going to be a tight one. But in the end, I got to take who I take. Next game we've got Mr. Nick Allen versus Waylon. Robbie?
Shaking your head already. All right. Nick is he's kind of on a giant losing streak right now. Waylon, last week in the video you said me and Waylon, it was a must-win for both teams. The team that lost is probably out of it. Luckily, I got the win. Both of you picked Waylon. Saw how that turned out. Waylon's out of it, but Waylon's a fighter. He's going to continue to fight. And, I'm going to say Waylon gets the win. And Nick is extremely, extremely questionable on the playoff berth.
Well, I got to be honest, Robbie. I didn't take one look at this game, and so I'm going to kind of wing it here. Waylon's truck is blue. Nick has black hair.
You like blue, don't you?
I like blue. But Nick's black hair, that makes it a 1-1. In the end, I think Nick is taller, so I'm going to take Nick.
Ooh, all right. A lot of differing opinions this week. Well, why don't we go ahead and hit that game of the week with Dave and Kyle. It's 7-1 versus 7-1.
Game of the week. Get your popcorn. Sit down. It's going to be a shootout. 7-1 versus 7-1. Both teams, very few people on bye. We've almost got full rosters. Brady's out. for Kyle, so that'll be an excuse for him come Monday. But he does have Freeman, who's put up 25 points and I want to say 28 respectively. He's been very hot lately. Both teams have very good matchups offensively. Balance all the way through the lineup. What I see in this game, I think it's just going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be both teams over 100 points. This game, to win this game, you're probably going to have to score 115 to 120 points. Kyle's got A.J. Green back in the lineup. He's sexy. He's All-American. But I think the key here is going to be Jarvis Green Ellis, the law firm, and A.J. Green playing against Denver. You saw what Denver did against New Orleans last week. I think if Peyton can get ahead in the game and they can turn him one-dimensional, that takes Ellis out of the game. Then they're passing the whole game. It could be a lot of turnovers. New Orleans, would they put up 7 or 10 points?
7.
Many turnovers. The offense was stifled. I think that is going to be the key in this matchup. I think Vic has a big week. Dave picked up Selleck. He's got that pitch and catch with the tight end. It's going to be an interesting game. In the end, someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. I'm going to take Dave, of course. I've got to live with myself.
Didn't see that coming. I agree with a lot of your points. I think Vic's going to have a big, big week. What you failed to mention is Frank Gore's on bye. He's a big back for you. You're going to lose some points there. But and here's another interesting fact. I don't know if you caught this. We talk about Davey week after week after week. Kyle is just as hot and on the same win streak that Davey is. I'm going to continue with that. No Brady, no problem. Kyle wins. Barn burner, 115-110.
That's well thought out. I like it. So that's going to be it for this week. Remember, folks, if you're winning, it's fantasy. If you're losing, it's fake.
See you in week 10.